At 68, former Air Force nurse Evelyn Nightingale Shaw thought her days of saving lives were over until a desperate EOS from the mountains forced her to fly one last mission no one else would dare attempt. Rain lashed the windows of Evelyn Shaw's Virginia cottage as the 68-year-old former Air Force nurse tended her rose bushes. Her hands, still steady despite arthritis, clipped dead blooms with military precision. At Thunder Valley Base, they'd once called her Nightingale, the only flight nurse to evacuate 12 wounded soldiers under mortar fire in Vietnam. But that was a lifetime ago, before the incident that ended her career. A black SUV skidded to a halt outside her picket fence. Colonel Hart emerged, water streaming off his service cap. "Evelyn," he barked, storming up her porch steps, "we've got a SAR call you need to hear." Inside, Hart unfolded a map across her kitchen table. Private Hiking Group 7 seniors from a Florida retirement community. Their OS came from Steel Canyon an hour ago. Evelyn's breath caught. She knew those cliffs jagged maws that swallowed aircraft whole. Their tour bus slid off Route 211 during the storm. Hart continued, "Militia radicals control the territory. We can't risk conventional rescue with SAMs in play." He met her gaze. "They need someone who flew Mediva in 72 monsoons." Evelyn's hand trembled as she touched her Silver Star medal displayed beside wartime photos. "My flight clearance was revoked in 83, William, after the court-martial." Hart slid a file across the table. Page 1 showed a familiar face, Margaret Chen. 71, Evelyn's wartime interpreter from Da Nang. "They've got hypothermia cases and one cardiac emergency," Hart said quietly. "No other pilot knows these mountains like you." Thunder shook the cottage. Somewhere beyond the storm, 7 grandparents faced their final night, and the Nightingale's wings itched to fly again. The FWI's rotors thundered to life as Evelyn squeezed into the pilot seat of the aging Mediva helicopter. At Thunder Valley's flight line, mechanics eyed the white-haired grandmother skeptically. "Ma'am," a young crew chief shouted over the blades, "bird's been mothballed for years. She'll never handle these winds." Evelyn strapped on her helmet, running through pre-flight checks with muscle memory intact. "Sonny, I flew this crate when your daddy was in diapers. Load the trauma kits." Across the tarmac, Colonel Hart argued with base command. "You're letting a senior citizen fly into Turian's 4 winds. That's suicide." Evelyn ignored them, her focus on the storm radar. Wind shear warnings flashed red, 60-knot gusts. Zero visibility, but Margaret's OS played in her mind. "Evelyn, please, we're trapped with armed men outside." Master Sergeant Pike jogged through the downpour, waving maintenance logs. "Captain Shaw, your bird's missing critical avionics updates, and the pressurization system." "Pressurization won't matter at 500 feet, Evelyn cut in, adjusting her bifocals. "Tell command I'm wheels up in 3 minutes. They can court-martial me tomorrow." The radio crackled as Evelyn lifted into the maelstrom. "Storm pacer to tower, Nightingale is airborne." Below, Hart watched in dismay as the Vietnamese Huey vanished into black clouds. "Godspeed, old girl," he whispered. Inside the storm, turbulence landed the helicopter like a toy. Evelyn fought the controls, navigating by instinct through mountain passes she'd memorized decades prior. Her instruments flickered, a SAM warning screamed. Below, muzzle flashes lit the forest. They'd been spotted. The Huey bucked violently as anti-caraft fire streaked past Evelyn's canopy. "Storm pacer to base, taking ground fire at Gridiho 7, she transmitted. "Banking hard right." Below, militia trucks pursued frightened seniors through pines. Evelyn spotted Margaret, her old friend, limping badly, clutching her chest. A missile lock alarm screamed. Evelyn dove toward the canyon, rotor blades nearly scraping cliffs. "Come on, baby," she coaxed the shuddering Huey, "just like Kay Sanch." The missile overshot, detonating harmlessly against stone. Evelyn circled back, lowering the chopper into a clearing barely wider than her skids. Pine branches slapped the cockpit as militia rounds pinged the fuselage. "Everyone aboard now," she yelled through the open side door. Margaret stumbled aboard last, gasping, "Evelyn, your hands." The former nurse saw her own knuckles white on the controls. Arthritic joints screaming, "Never mind me, seatbelts." As the Huey lurched skyward, a militia jeep roared into the clearing. Evelyn recognized their leader, Thomas Riggs, a disgraced Marine she'd treated for his decades prior. "Nightingale," he bellowed over the radio, "you stole my prisoners." "These aren't combatants, Tommy," Evelyn shot back. "They're grandparents." The helicopter shuddered as Riggs fired an RP. Evelyn executed a combat corkscrew maneuver she hadn't attempted since 75, evading the rocket by inches. Climbing through smoke, Evelyn assessed her passengers. Margaret slumped unconscious, lips blue. 3 others needed immediate medical care the aging Huey couldn't provide. Thunder Valley was 40 miles away, but Riggs' militia blocked the direct route. She'd need to fly the gauntlet. Evelyn skimmed treetops, Riggs' trucks hot in pursuit below. "Hang on, Megs," she whispered, one hand steering while checking Margaret's pulse. "Freddy." The storm worsened, icing the Huey's rotor blades. Evelyn switched on, deniers failed. "Of course," she muttered, "Vietnam never had this nonsense." Ahead loomed Dead Man's Pass, a narrow gorge Evelyn hadn't flown since 83's. That last mission flashed before her night evacuation. Wounded Rangers, her co-pilot panicking. The court-martial had called her reckless, but 12 men lived. Riggs' voice crackled over emergency frequencies. Land now, Nightingale. My medic can save your friend. Evelyn saw the trap. He wanted hostages. Margaret stirred, clutching Evelyn's arm. Don't trust him. He's unstable since Jenny died. Jenny, Riggs' wife. Evelyn had treated her pancreatic cancer years ago. The memory sparked an idea. Storm Hazer to Riggs. I've got insulin in my medkit. Jenny's dosage, remember? Silence. Then you're lying. Check my tail number, Tommy. This is Jenny's old Mediva bird. The Huey shuddered as Riggs fired warning shots. Evelyn pushed deeper into the pass. Ice crystals cracking off blades. Your wife begged me to save you from yourself. Tommy, don't make her death meaningless. Ahead, the gorge narrowed dangerously. Evelyn spotted her salvation, an abandoned mining tunnel from her mapping days. Everyone braced. She flared the Huey sideways, skids screeching as she wedged the aircraft into the tunnel mouth. The militia trucks skidded past, unable to follow. They'd bought minutes, but Margaret was fading fast. Inside the icy tunnel, Evelyn tore open medkits with trembling hands. Margaret's breathing grew shallow. Stay with me, sister, Evelyn begged. Administering CPR, the other seniors watched, huddled under survival blankets. Outside, Riggs' men surrounded the entrance. Radio static broke the tension. Nightingale, this is Thunderbird 1, Colonel Hart's voice. We tracked your locator beacon. Hold position, extraction in 10. Evelyn shook her head. Negative. Margaret needs a hospital now. She eyed the Huey, one engine dead, the other smoking. Then she saw the old mine railway. Everyone aboard, Evelyn ordered, transferring patients to a rusted ore cart. This line descends to River Junction. Hart can meet us there. She rigged it with fuel to burn, creating a diversion. As the cart rattled downhill, Riggs appeared on the tracks ahead. Evelyn stood protectively before her charges. Stand down, Captain. Riggs aimed his rifle. Those people are my leverage. Evelyn stepped closer, unarmed. Jenny's last words were, save him from the darkness. She believed in you, Tommy. So do I. Riggs' hand shook. A shot rang out into the ceiling. Hart's choppers arrived as Evelyn's cart reached the valley floor. Medics rushed Margaret to surgery while Hart helped Evelyn from the cart. You're under arrest for unauthorized flight, he murmured. But first, he pinned her old wings to her blouse. Weeks later, Evelyn visited Margaret's recovery room. Outside, Riggs, now in psych treatment, tended hospital gardens. The Nightingale's final mission had healed more than broken bones. As leads turned gold, Evelyn knew her wings would rest, but her legacy of mercy would soar.